we were young. I never heard of it before,
Wow.
but he used to say, y'all are super stupid. I was like, how you get super stupid?
But now as you got older, you understand it,
Yeah.
right? Like you have those young boys come on in the team. They're like, how's the rook? He's like, man, he's super stupid. Like, he's super stupid. He's like, we try and tell him what to do and try and help him out and guide him. And he's just like, no, I'm going to do it a stupit way, like a super stupid way.
Like, you ain't never seen it done that way.
No, you've been in the league 13 years. I'm going to do something you ain't never seen before. It's like, but no, yeah, that's super stupid.
Before people claim us as the super stupid clan.
We don't like to use the word clan around here.
Oh, Allie.
Don't edit that. No edit.
Please
That's
edit.
just funny. That's just funny. We just.
Okay. Dwayne, what's going on in your... Now you guys are all messed up for that. Y'all are super stupid for that.
There we go.
Dwayne, before we have so much to talk about. We talked about there's so many directions that we could go and talk to you. So we want to hit the nuts and bolts first. The more, current, what's going on in the world. The Miami Heat just won a championship. Do you get a ring?
What champ? Huh?
No, they didn't win a championship.
Super stupid.
See, we got it rattled. We got it rattled right now.
You know, let me tell you, that's that Chenin Blanc. That's that Wade wine.
Is that Wade wine?
Oh,
okay.
Right now. They got her.
They did not. They did not.
She forgot her.
I actually work for the Lakers, so it was kind of big. But you didn't pick up on that.
We're in the Laker building right now, and she's like, "So
Laker around here.
The Miami Heat just won a championship. Do you get a ring? But do you get a ring when the Heat do win their next championship?
I don't know. Well, y'all asking me like I have some sense.
Because every time we hear about the Miami Heat, we hear about it's like the middle name.
Jimmy told me at some point in the bubble he was gonna get me a ring. That was way before that. That was like before the playoffs started. He was like,
got
yo,
you
once
one
I
of
win
these
this
rings,
ring,
like Uber rings to carry your sleep ring.
You talking about the ring you got for the Cavs? That's all you was doing was sleeping.
Oh no!
I saw my
iPad. Sleepy out there.
Still up there. Got my name on it. Look.
I still got my iPad from the Cavs.
What you mean?
Yeah.
Well, they gave us an iPad like for all of our playoff stuff. Like,
Richard.
What? Do you still have it too, Channing? You still have it? Channing still got the iPad. Look at that. What are the chances?
Yo, you supposed to get that back.
No.
What do you mean it's a fine?
Yo, that's got data.
That's a fine.
No, that's got data.
Of course it is.
No, not when you trade. Not when they trade me because of you. We'll get to that later. Thanks, San.
No, let's just get there now. Please, let's just get there now.
Yo, seriously though, that's the exact same thing. It's got data. That's why you can't give it back.
Let me tell you what I still have. Okay. In 2010, I don't know if they started it then, but in 2010, through free agency, they gave out iPads. That was like the big thing. Like they'll show up to your house, whatever team that was recruiting you, and they'll leave an iPad.
Yeah.
I still have all the iPads.
Oh, as you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
I still have all of them.
Mine has the data so I can stream movies on it, and I'm like, they're like, you've exceeded your data. It's like, don't care.
You know how many people would literally die for an iPad? And you guys are just...
Whoa. An iPad Pro.
Right.
Can we travel back?
My stuff off, and I called them and was like, "Hey, yo, you can't turn this off."
Did they turn it off? They
turned my data off. I called them like, "Hey, yo, come on, I still need this. Like, I might come back." Obviously not. I'm up here watching Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, right? Everything.
Okay, so at one point in time, we all were together. That was what, 2017?
Yeah.
2018 in the fall. When you walked into that training camp in Cleveland and these two were there, what went through your mind?
First of all, Richard didn't even, he was in training camp, but he wasn't doing nothing. Richard wasn't doing nothing in training camp, and Channing neither. Neither one of these guys were doing anything in training camp, especially Richard, though. I've never seen nobody stretch on the sideline as much as Richard and to not play. He didn't even get in practice.
You know what it is? I learned it probably around year 13. Now, it's different when, I know the difference between, like, Miami, San Antonio, like, places that, like, are really watching. But once I got there, I learned that, like, I only have to jump in the drill one time per whole thing.
Oh, you get smarter as you get older.
As you get older,
sure.
you get smarter. It's like if you're doing the running drills or whatever, but if you're doing like defensive drills, as long as I get in one time, I'm good. Because then the coach can see they saw me, like other players.
And when you
saw
get
me.
in, you got to be loud too. You got to be
Let's
talking.
go.
Super loud.
Yeah.
And then go sit. That's what they did. The whole training camp. These two right here. One drill per.
Hey.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Every time I would be like, hey, Tristan, let me come get you. He'd be like, hell no. I said, all right, next one. And I didn't go like
Because guys don't never want to come out neither, especially when you're
no.
scrimmaging.
And I'd be like,
cool.
Oh,
I would be cool.
You know what it was, though? Like, I remember you remember this, too. When we were all younger players, we used to step in and help the vets out. Like, yo, I got this. Get out. Just get out. I mean, because we're bored when you're 25. You want to run more. So you're like, here, just get out. I got you. Oh, thanks, young fella. And then I'm not asking, I expect the younger players to do it. Like, hey, just come get me.
Oh, Eddie Jones would just put, you had to go. Like, Eddie Jones would like, he'll sit in line. We'd be doing the running drill. You'll come back, and he'd be like, "Yo, go again. You need to get in shape. You need to get like." He would just be sitting chilling. I was like, "That's when I get when I become a vet, I'm gonna do the same thing."
Speaking of getting in shape, we need to bring up this. But I first you just gave your observation of Richard. He wasn't doing it in training camp.
No.
What was Channing doing?
Same thing.
Yeah, they weren't doing shit together.
We were comic relief.
20 miles a day.
Okay, so speaking of miles, did you guys know that there's someone on this podcast right now that used to tape their Apple Watch on their wrist during games to count steps?
Channing.
Yes, Channing.
It has to be Channing.
Hey,
I mean, were you that desperate?
No, but I was so bored. So my mind, I'd be like, all right, if I'm not going to play, I was warming up dumb hard. Yeah, like I was Then I was doing lifting, and I was just staying in shape and keep my mind ready because I was like, okay, Tristan got to play, Kevin got to play, Bron got to play, Jeff Green got to play. All these people got to play. I didn't play really until we won 20 in a row, and then they traded me. So see how that goes. But like, I really didn't play till a bunch of guys got hurt.
You still feel a way about that trade. I see.
I do. I was not very happy.
Up next on Road Trippin'.
Once you get to the end of your career, you got to be honest with yourself. Okay, where am I at with my talent?
Yeah, like Danny Green. D-Wade, the funniest thing about his time in LA, there's a couple of funny jokes that we told.
The 2 weeks he was there.
The 2 weeks he was there. One of them was like, Luke Walton, head coach at the time, he was like, hey, because they played together at Arizona, so he was like, hey, Channing, just, when we're around the young players, I just need, I know we're boys and all, but I need you to do. I was like, cool. He said, like, the second video session, he walked in, Lukey Dookie, what's up? What's up? And Luke just looked at him like,
that is so Channing.
Dude. And it's like, because you know him, you can't be mad at him, but you're just like, all the young boys were looking at him, Lukey Dookie.
Lukey Dookie.
Okay.
Yo, listen, here's the problem. I got there, and I played, but I was like, yo, I'm hurt. So let me figure this out. And then it was just like, we were like 5 games from the playoffs, and I said, oh, this is it. We ain't gonna make this. Like, based on this, right? We ain't making this.
Yeah.
And so for me, I went in a full, like, here you go, guys. Like, Larry, Brooke Lopez was gonna play. Julius Randle was gonna play. And so I was like, okay, this is young fella time. Every team that I've been on that wasn't gonna make the playoffs is young fella time. So I basically was like, all right, y'all go ahead. Just let me know where you need me. Zubac was gonna play. So I was way down the list. So
why does it seem like you're way down the list on every team you're on? That's like the second time you've done that lineup.
I mean, basically, my whole career I played behind an all-star. No. Listen, look, buddy. I'm a specialist, and that specialist did not include defense, right? So my job.
Oh, Channing.
Listen, and I said this is a stat. While I played for the Cavs, this is the least amount of double teams in the history of Cavs history.
The history of Cav history?
You drew the least amount of double teams?
No, there was no double teams. You couldn't double team. We absolutely punished them. 3-pointers, layups, floor spacings, everything. It should be a stat. Ask D-Wade. We rejuvenated his career. We put him on that block, right? We put him on the block. We won 20 out of 22 games, D-Wade. We ran one play. We threw it to you if there was a little guy. And if there was a big guy, we'd do that little curl play for Jeff to get a little right-hand boom, or Kyle Korver to get a 3. Or you would just shoot your turn around shoulder. and it worked.
We figured it out. We figured it out. You 100% correct. And then we got traded.
Yep.
Then we got traded.
We were best team in the NBA. The next thing you know, we lost 2 in a row. We got traded.
Channing, at least you made it. Channing, at least you made it to play games, because basically D Wade came in, and I'm not gonna lie, this was really funny, right? We were all having fun. We were having a great time. And I remember talking to Allie a bunch of that. When you came in, and I was like, oh, dope, D Wade. And I started looking around, and I was like, I called my agent, and I was like, hey, something ain't adding up here. I was like, something ain't adding up here. I was like, we got a lot of roster spots. And you know, the crazy thing that it wasn't, obviously I understood, like, we've been doing this business for long enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this gonna suck, right? And the funny thing about it was that David Griffin was the GM at the time, and he was like, Richard, if you come back after we won the championship, if you come back on a minimum salary, I'll keep you on a minimum salary forever. He was like, I'll have you be the Udonis Haslem. You can stay here till you're 47. I don't care. And I was like, nah, that's not gonna be good enough. I see this salary cap going up. You gotta give me a little bit more. So they gave me a little bit more. But boy, did that screw them when it came to the tax. Because it was like, I kept seeing like reports like, yes, by trading Richard Jefferson, they would save $12 million. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not $12 million good right now.
Hey, listen, you got to know it. That's the thing. You got to know. Once you get to the end of your career, you got to be honest with yourself. Okay, where am I at with my talent right now?
Like Danny Green. Like Danny Green ain't unpacked. He ain't done nothing. I'm not trying to be mean to Danny. I'm saying I had the same thing happen. I left the team that we won a championship. I was like this leading scorer off the bench in the finals. Then the next year, D Wade comes in, and it was like, even though that I had performed and done my job, like for numbers and roster and salary cap reasons, they traded me to Atlanta. I laughed at them and said, I ain't coming. And then after that, I went to Denver. So it was
How do you think Bron felt?
Bron?
He was fine. He had his boat buddy.
Yeah. What did you call him? His boat buddy?
Boat.
What is he? Is he saying? He's saying boat.
This is your guy. This is your guy.
I can't hear him.
I can't hear him. But you didn't want to leave Miami. You didn't want but sometimes like business is business.
I didn't want to leave Chicago.
Yeah.
But they traded Jimmy, and business was business.
Business was business.
Actually, I'm from Chicago. I enjoyed my 1 year there, and I was looking forward to the second
suburbs.
Year. What?
You're from the suburbs.
Okay, you're right.
Don't let the private school mess with you.
You're right.
It doesn't matter. Even if you,
right.
Like, he went to private school, prep school. Like, don't let him fool you.
I did not go to prep school.
It's a college preparatory.
Okay, Dwayne.
It didn't prepare you to speak.
No, I didn't go there. That's why. I couldn't afford it.
Allie, how do you ever get any work done?
I don't.
With these two?
This is where I need to like step up and play my role.
This is the work.
Y'all should do a Beavis and Butthead like remake or like.
Hey, creative director.
Creative director. Come on.
I got you.
Back to it. Creative director. Okay, so you're a creative director.
I got a lot of titles, Allie.
Tell us them all.
Let's get into it.
They don't mean nothing. They're just titles.
Okay, no. I don't. I actually do not believe that for a second, because you have a game show.
I do.
Did you know that, Channing?
What is this? What is this?
Tell us about it.
Let's talk
first
about...
of all, you're going to be the...
It better not be no Connect Four junk either.
I mean, it's a game show. So, all right. So
and if you say that he's about to be on it, I'm...
No, he's gonna be sitting on the couch with some wine with his kids around watching the game show when it come out. He's a game show dude. Look at him.
Is it on cable?
That's what happens when you live in Portland, Oregon.
What show?
TBS. It'll be on TBS. It's called The Cube. You've never seen it because it's the first time we've done it here. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me tell you about the game show.
Please.
All right. So the game show has been in the UK for now 12 years.
Oh.
And Warner Media, who I'm a part of, they adopted it here. They wanted to bring it to the States. And we already had conversations about me possibly hosting a game show. So when the conversation came to me, it was like, hey, it'll be in LA. You can go do a couple hours, host, and then come back home.
Get out of the house.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I can get out the house for a couple hours. I can come home, see the family still. Cool. Then COVID happened, and it changed everything. So we ended up shooting it in Atlanta for 10 days. And I had 16-hour days.
Ooh. And you did multiple episodes every day?
I had to try to get at least 3 episodes a show. But I'm the host. I'm also doing the promos. I'm also doing, I'm doing everything. So I was like, oh, This is training. I felt like I was in training camp all over again.
But you're the creative director. Don't you get to choose?
No, none of that. None of that. I am not. I'm just the host, and I EP'd it, and I end up being the host. But like for me, it was fun. Like I grew up on game shows. Like in Chicago, one of my favorite game shows was this show called The Bozo Show, and I used to watch it every morning before I went to school. And like the one thing on The Bozo Show, they'll put like 5 or 6 buckets, and you had to hit a ball in each bucket, and that last bucket was the money bucket. And I always used to think like one day I'm gonna get on this show and I'm gonna change my family's life.
I'm gonna change my family's life
from the Bozo Show.
Yeah,
and like full circle. I'm on the show and I'm hosting the show to be able to change people's lives. On our show, you can win up to $250,000. You know?
Oh my God,
it's a lot
amazing.
of money to play 7 games. Well, to win 7 games. If you win 7 games on our show, you get to win $250,000.
Do you put up your own money?
No, that's net. I'm on like the way my bank account is set up from retiring. I'm on a budget.
Boy, you better stop it right now.
So, are you on a budget?
Hell yes, I'm on a budget.
Why I can't be on a budget? You on a budget?
Listen, you got vice president. I'm working 9 to 5s. I'm making frappuccinos at Starbucks.
All you gotta do, honestly, this is what you need to do. Get dressed up. Like, tell Lauren to get dressed up, take her out to a nice dinner, and just ask her to increase your allowance.
Wow. Wow. Channing, well, you're one of those guys that, I feel like we interviewing Channing, by the way. Channing, were you one of those guys that when you got your NBA check, you gave it to your wife and she gave you some money and said, go have fun?
Nah, hell no.
And she took the rest?
Hell.
Yeah.
Hell.
She's like, make it work. She's like, make it work. This ain't enough.
Yeah. First of all, let's put a little bit more respect on Lauren's name.
Lauren's the boss. Lauren's Lauren's the boss. As much as we're joking, we're just saying like, yo, this is a strong, awesome woman that Channing has.
Based on my wine budget, I definitely do my own stuff. Right? Because I've been getting yelled at every month. Like, Channing, how much do you need to spend on wine? R&D.
Research and development.
R&D. If there's one thing you want to take away from this episode.
Learned in the wine industry is R&D. That's the one thing you've learned so far.
Up next on Road Trippin', was there a moment during filming this game show that like for us to all hold on to, like a little teaser? Okay, so from the Bozo, the game show, what it's called? Cube?
It's called The Cube.
The Cube.
Yeah, it's called The Cube.
Cube, and it's coming out when?
I don't know the exact date, but somewhere in the middle of next year.
Middle of next year?
Yeah, middle of next year.
How many episodes?
I filmed, I don't know how many they're going to end up showing, but I filmed 19 episodes in 10 days.
Wait, so if you filmed, then you have all of those contestants, right?
Yeah.
They could chop them together.
I mean, it just depends. You know, it's a show, so you want to put your best shows forward.
Okay.
You know, all shows. Just because I filmed 19, don't mean all of them was good. Some of them came out.
It takes a while.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So they got to go through it and put it together. They're gonna make it look nice and neat. But I filmed 19 episodes in 10 days, and I was like, oh, so this is what retirement is really like. This is what work is really like.
Really work, actual work.
This is what actual work is really like.
I just gotta keep my body tight. You just gotta keep it strong.
And I was like, I don't know.
Before we move on to the wine collaboration, you obviously have your bottle of wine. Channing has his newest bottle of wine. You see it right there. I do want to ask, can you give like a little snippet? Like, was there a moment during filming this game show that like for us to all hold on to, like a little teaser, like something that was really awesome, like a moment?
Well, it was awesome. The thing that's awesome about it is, yeah, it's a game show. It's simple games. So the name of the show is The Cube. So everything happens in the cube. It's a glass cube, and all these games happen. So Richard, here's a game. You know, I get on this end, turn my back, and let's say you are a bucket. Yeah. I got to throw it backwards and make it in the bucket.
Yeah. Okay.
If you make it, like one of those.
You win. Right? Okay. You move on to the next round, which that means money. If you miss it, you lose a life. Okay. You get 9 lives in these games. So you miss it, now you got 8 lives. Okay. But you can't come once you go in the cube, you can't come out. So you can burn all 9 lives trying to
get that one thing.
Right? Ooh. So it's a simple game, but it's a hard game because it's easy to throw it backwards and miss it. So being a part of it and watching these families and like them coming on with their stories and their reasons why being on the show and what they wanted to do. A lot of people wanted to, enrich the communities. They wanted to, some people living the way they were living. Obviously COVID has, struck the whole world. So you get to know their backstories as well. And then you understand that, okay, this money is important, for so many other reasons. So to watch a family win $50,000, on a show, I mean, tears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I saw, and it gets you emotional. You get invested into their story.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry, but inside I was warm and fuzzy.
Warm, I understand.
I mean, but the one thing I did learn about this show with Americans is we go for it every time. It'd be like, okay, listen, okay, this game that's next, right? Let's say it's a game that's coming up next, and this game on average takes 5 lives to beat on average.
You got 2.
You got 2 lives, and you got $20,000. You can walk away right now with $20,000, or you can go inside that cube and try to play for $50,000. And I'm sitting there like they about to walk away and take the money. They be like, we gonna go inside the queue. I'm like, no.
Wait. Now, we're not gonna turn this into a ethnic, racial thing. but what if we were to break it down from like demographics? Let's just say demographics. Was there one demographic that was more apt to like, we're going for it versus, oh no, we taking this money?
Yeah, the alley demographic was more like we're going for it.
Yeah.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying. Our demographic was more so like, you know what?
Hey, I could do a lot with 20,000.
I could do a lot with 20,000.
I could do a lot with 20,000 too, but why not?
Yeah,
I'm a risk taker. I like to live on the edge.
That's what I'm saying. You know what my mama would have said to me?
You know when people I watch, like, I mean, it's a great show. You know when people, you know what? I hate when people do this. I hate when people do this, when they put this back in the refrigerator when it's like, a little orange juice left. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this.
See. It's yours.
Yeah,
you brought it.
But, yeah, so I just did that, and so it was cool. When you retire, as we all know, when you retire, you try to find, like, something that's, like, you try to find your lane. Like, all right, what am I going to be good at? What can I be good at? Where's someone going to pay me? But also, too, like, you try to find something that gives you, like, some joy, you know? So for me, like, to host that show, like, even though it was hard, and we got to talk about the schedule that they put me through. But overall, like, I would do it again if the schedule was right, because, like, it was fulfilling and was rewarding to watch, like, these families, like, win this kind of money, on this show. So it was cool.
So
you got it.
Oh, no. I was going to say, it's like, obviously, God rest his soul, but Alex Trebek and, like, Pat Sajak and Steve Harvey and all these guys, that's basically what they do. They, like, people don't understand. They record for, like, a week. They record like an entire season of Family Feud in like a week, and they just like change their outfits, and they have like 12-hour days. But you make I don't know about your situation, but like like Alex Trebek making $15 million to work like 2.5 weeks and do some promos. If it's a good gig if you can get it.
I'm not there yet. This is my first time out the back, so my money wasn't like that. But it is something great, and it's something like with the Cube, because it's been successful in the UK for 12 years. So, obviously everybody on our team is like, listen, we got an opportunity with a great show. Hopefully we can get 10 years out of this, and build an empire, for this show in the States. So we'll see how it goes. Like, like I told them, I said, I had an amazing time, but like, we definitely got to talk on the schedule because I ain't built for it. I ain't built for 16-hour days.
Did you ever have a moment where you walked in and you were like, do y'all know that I'm Dwayne Wade?
No. Like, first of all, I was nervous as hell, first of all, to do something like that.
You can cuss.
Just out of nowhere in the middle of your story.
All right, my mama might watch. You know what I mean? Let me limit my cursing, all right, Channing? You sit down in the basement where you was put.
That is first rodeo on road tripping.
That's why they put you in the basement.
Lauren has the key, too.
Yeah.
Lauren has the key.
She put the food by the door.
Yeah, she put she makes him quarantine.
I quarantine 16 hours a day by myself. I just get to sleep on the couch.
R&D.
So it was hard?
No, it was hard. I ain't even lie to you. You know what I mean? Like getting off. I mean, but obviously it's to be successful in sport. We had moments where it was hard. So it was just hard because I've never done it before. But, once I got done, I felt accomplished. Like 10 days on the grind to get a show done. Like I said, we filmed 19 shows in 10 days. Like I felt accomplished. Walked away from there with my head up high, my feet hurting.
Yeah.
It was hurting.
What was the hardest part? Reading a prompter? Like what? Like was that? Because that's something that even like for me, I've been 2 years out, and I've been in the space of like learning how to read a prompter, different, whether it's hosting something or just like doing my own stuff. Like you're trying to be expressive and read and like not like sit there and focus. What was the hardest part that was like a random skill that you now have a tremendous amount of respect for people that are in that space?
Yeah, you said it, man. It's like, all right, so hosting is cool. Like once you learn the game, you know the rules and everything, you can be personable with someone, you can host. That's not easy, but that's cool. It's once the show over, okay, Dwayne, now the contestant just left, we need you to read 30 things to camera. We need you to turn like this, you know, watch them go out and now look at the camera and say, blah, blah, blah. You know, Allie and Richard have $20,000. Where they go for, you know what I mean? That kind of read. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, we need more energy, or we need this to be dramatic, or I'm like, I am not an actor, okay? Like, you know what I mean? So
I'm a creative director.
I'm not. So like that was tough, and it would be like in between hosting shows, it'd be like, okay, we got to get 50 reads. You know, like all this stuff that I was like, oh, you know, I didn't pay attention to the fine print because I don't remember seeing that I was gonna have to do 50 reads between each show. But it was like, but it was challenging, and you know, like everybody there was working longer hours than me. You got people who setting up early and then staying later. So we were all like pushing through together. It was like really like a family. You know, I get it. Like when people say it felt like a family, even though we couldn't touch each other, it felt like a family. Like, listen, guys, listen. We on the 16th hour. My toes probably bleeding, but we about to get through this.
Would you see? You didn't switch up your shoes.
It didn't even matter. If you stand up
that long, your feet start pulsating.
Oh my! I still ain't got the feeling back on my big toe on my right side yet.
Talk to me when you're wearing 4-inch heels and you do it for 6-7 hours. Okay.
No, I can't. No,
we'll talk
y'all
about it.
Y'all are better than
what
that.
are those things? What are New Balances?
What are you talking about?
We're talking about Channing.
Can someone?
What'd you say? Oh, that's these Jimmy Butlers. That's these Lee Nings. You know what I mean? That's
you had the audacity to rock Jimmy Butler's in the Lakers studio. Up next on Road Trippin'.
You got these young guys that you're trying to take to NBA Finals versus LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
You and Jimmy, like that is, I respect that relationship, but it's like you bring him over to Lee. I'm not saying you, like obviously Lee Ning and the Miami Heat, but like you,
I'm not, the ones who paying them,
the ones that are paying him. But not, okay, let's talk about that because I think that's really, really dope in the sense that like it seems from a distance, and I'm gonna ask from like a fan standpoint of like, you guys have a great relationship. He tries to credit you whenever he gets that opportunity. He talks about how instrumental you were to bringing him to the Heat and really expressing to him is like, dude, I know your personality and how you compete. The Miami Heat is the organization you've been like searching for the last bit. Like, what does that mean to you? Like, how did you guys establish that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, you, Channing, and you know, Richard, you understand this. When you come into the league or at some point in your career, if you have a great vet, it changes your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It changes the way you look at life. It changes the things you do. So when I went to Chicago, you know, me and Jimmy latched onto each other right away. Obviously, we had a Marquette tie in the background, but we wasn't close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would go back, I would play with those guys, but, like, we wasn't really close, and he played with the Bulls, and we had that Bulls-Miami thing going on. But when I went there, me and Jimmy got close, and Jimmy just was like, yo, I want to learn everything I can. And I gave Jimmy the game, right? Yeah. Everything I've learned from the vets before me, everything I learned from my experience, me and Jimmy sat down, and I got into Jimmy. I started to understand who he was. He wanted to play dominoes, let's play dominoes. Yeah. You want to drink Hendrix? Okay, I don't drink it, but let's drink gin? You know what I mean? Like whatever Jimmy was into.
The devil's piss right there.
Right, but we did it, and I got to know Jimmy, and I got to know what he wanted for himself. And what he wanted was the same thing that I was doing. You know what I mean? He's like, I was like, what do success look like for you? He was like, I said, all right, well, here you go. You know what I mean? And then to his credit, man, obviously he's doing it his own way, but you know, he's taking some of the similar steps that I've done. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? He has a blueprint of somebody that he, you know, can say that is a friend and a brother. And you know, he's blazing his own trail, but he's following a path that seems successful. And so I'm happy for him, man. He got into a great place with Miami. You know, I left Jordan Brand, he left Jordan Brand to sign with Lee Ning, and I signed with Lee Ning, and end up good for me, you know. And so hopefully he has the similar success that I've had, and hopefully even more.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, he got more money from the Heat than me already, but we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that.
No, I need to talk about that.
Not career earnings.
Takes sip.
It's close.
Already?
You know, like a 4-year deal nowadays.
Yeah.
Wait a second, what?
Well, it's like back in the day, like if you were making 15, like you were in the top like 5%.
That's what I'm saying.
You were in the top 5%.
Now they making 30, 40, 50 million a year.
Million.
Like back
it's like
in the day.
sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, that's what the generations before.
Generations, like the dudes that were like right before us.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Like, Scottie Pippen was winning all the we saw that in The Last Dance. Scottie Pippen was winning everything and as a 9-time All-Star making $2.1 million.
You know, but that was just the time. But now, you know, like, but yeah, Jimmy, he probably making more. He close. And this 4-year deal he signed with the Heat, he about $25 million away from my career.
Oh, well, if he gonna get, he's probably trying to get that extension already.
Right.
So y'all want to run this back a couple more times? I'm cool.
The one thing I learned about him though, like during that entire run, that I actually, my respect level went up so high, it wasn't what he was doing between the lines. It was like the way in which he was handling the media, the things he would say, the way in which he carried himself. It was Channing's reconnecting. It was different. Like there's like a confidence to him that like that surprised you. You knew that obviously. Like you understood that. You saw that. Yeah. But like there was ways in which like he would answer some questions and it would just be like we're gonna win Game 6 because of this, or this is right. And I'm just like, we're going to win. Like, wait, what?
He sounds like a lead. You know what it was?
But that's different.
And you know this when you watch the transition of a guy learning to then taking that step to being a leader, right? And I think that's what I saw in Miami with him was that he was speaking from a leadership role. And then you would hear guys like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero be like, yeah, well, Jimmy said that we're going to be all right. So we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. And it's like, that was the part that I noticed was just the leadership. He had turned from like proving himself and trying to lead like he did in Minnesota, but those guys weren't receptive to it because they weren't trying to win the same way he was. Then going to Philly, you know, however that transpired, he was the most important player. You saw what happened when he left there. And then he goes to Miami, and there's a bunch of dudes that are like, we're looking for a leader.
Right.
And he spoke like a leader.
He did.
Right? Not arrogant, not like trash talk, but just very confident and matter of fact that we believe in each other. I've said that these guys are great. And it was just like, was that a transition that you saw from him? Or was it like, did you pick up on that also?
Was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I think we all watched the evolution of Jimmy Butler, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so even you.
World. Yeah, I mean, I've you know, like watching him from obviously Marquette to getting drafted. I remember when Jimmy got drafted. Jimmy got drafted the last pick in the first round. He was the 30th pick. And I remember thinking like, oh man, dang, good for Jimmy.
Yeah, good for Jimmy.
I'm glad Jimmy got in there, like, cause he wasn't like that kind of player. But I watched it, you know, he started off as a defensive player. Then he would play at first. Then he started off as a defensive player. And I just watched his rise. And when I got to Chicago, what I seen was, and Jimmy's confident, and I always say confidence comes from your work. Yeah. Jimmy confidence comes from no one is going to work harder than me. I would be damned if someone would work harder than me. So his confidence comes from, he know that you know what I mean? Like he know, okay, this guy got this and he got that. Maybe I can't do that, but I know I got something that he don't got, right, in here. And the work that I put in. So that's why he feels like, in his mind, Jimmy's he's the best player in the world. You can't tell Jimmy Butler he's not the best player in the world right now.
And not from an arrogant standpoint, because like he's the best version of himself.
Yeah. And so he spoke that way, and he had a lot of young guys, you know, that he was dependent on to. They look at their team. You know, you got Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn, they play a big role, but you got these young guys that you're trying to take to NBA Finals versus LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the Lakers, like Rondo and like these guys, like they shouldn't even had a chance. Yeah. If you look at it on paper. But Jimmy spoke that confidence into them. Obviously, you know, led by the leader, you know, Eric Spoelstra and UD as well. But Jimmy spoke that confidence into his guys, and they believed, and I mean, they had a chance.
And what's crazy too, the last part I'll say is that it never was from a place of arrogance, and it was never from a place of, oh, we're better than them, and like talking he never gave them like bulletin board material, right? It was just everybody kind of watched him, like even from the Lakers side, I don't want to speak from them, but just from like the media side or like the other team side, you look at him like, yo, they really believe in themselves. Like, that's it.
And it wasn't like it was bulletin board material, but it was from a place of like, if you don't go out and do your job, you will lose. Yeah. Because they actually believe in what they're saying. They're not just talking to talk. You know, Jimmy just made it hard not to want to root for him. Yeah. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It was awesome. But your guy UD was amazing when he took over that huddle. Yeah. He lost it. Whew. That was fun.
He said he lost it.
He lost it. I was like, he said he lost that was like James Jones. Champ.
Oh, yeah.
Champ.
What was it like having
during those
runs? Champ and UD on the same team?
Oh, wait. Champ, UD, Shane Battier. Man, Ray Allen, like, bro.
Y'all had some like buttoned up vets,
man,
right?
We had some real grown men. Like, you know, like real, I mean, like on a plane, you know, like you guys know, we're on a plane sometimes, it's multiple things going on the plane ride. Yeah.
Up next on Road Trippin'.
And we had to put in a rule, like, yo, anybody who lose, I want my money in 48 hours. But a lot of times on our plane ride, we would sit down and have conversations that you don't normally have. Like, let's sit down and talk about money. Okay, what are you guys doing with y'all money? James Jones was somebody who did his own finances. Yeah. So, like, we sat down and had adult conversations. It wasn't just always playing cards or always listening to music or whatever. Sometimes we had real adult conversations on that team, and it was, man, I loved it. I loved being able to soak all that knowledge up. Rashard Lewis was on the team. you know, another vet. Like we had some real dope.
Honestly, so I was so mad. Okay, let me not phrase mad. So Fizdale calls me, right? I just finished in Utah, had a solid year there, kind of got my body healthy or whatever. Fizdale called me and was like, this was the same year that Bron was a free agent. He was like, hey, Richard, man, like, we really could use you, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, come and, you know, back up Bron and come. And I'm looking at that. And I looked at your roster. Like, I knew Rashard. We were the same, like, year out of high school, McDonald's All-American. You, Bron. I was like, man, that just looks like a fun veteran team, whatever. Then y'all signed Danny Granger. And then Bron, no, shout out Danny's my guy. But I'm saying then y'all signed Danny Granger, and I was like, damn. And then Bron left, and I was like, you know how mad I would have been if I would have signed there, and then Bron would have upped and left.
Right.
And so I ended up going to where the hell did I went to Dallas. But like just watching your team from afar, like there was like conversations of like, hey, you can come be a backup, like veteran minimum guy, and it was like you guys look like you just had such a good veteran group. That's why I felt bad for Mario Chalmers, right? That's why I felt bad for him. But y'all look like y'all not fun in a way that like was like the Cleveland fun. That was different.
Right.
It was more of like fun from like you learned a lot.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you brought up Mario Chalmers. So like the one thing is too, when you got a veteran group like that, that means these guys has made a lot of money from the game of basketball.
Yeah.
So their pockets is a little. And so when you're gambling on the plane, it's a different level of gambling. So Mario.
Will you hang on. Because you guys all know what that means. People like me, we don't know what that means. So what does that mean?
Well, okay,
what's a different level of
games
gambling?
are Boo-Ray or what's the other game? Guts.
Guts. Oh, Guts is
right.
dumb.
These games, Boo-Ray and Guts. So you know these games start off very friendly. Hey, $20 in the pot. Everybody put in. Hey, $100 in the pot. Hey, $200. It just go. But when you're playing with guys like Ray Allen that have been making money since he got game, when you're playing with Rashard Lewis that have been making money since coming out of high school,
one of the biggest contracts in NBA,
right? When you're playing with LeBron James, who you know. We all know. When you're playing with, I got a little coin, you know, when you're playing with these veteran guys and you like Mario Chalmers and you getting beat over the head, and it's like, and we had to put in a rule, like, yo, anybody who lose, I want my money in 48 hours. 48 hours.
But you, okay, so
what's that money?
No, tell them.
It's not $20?
No. God.
What?
So Boo-Ray is a game that, like, the legendary stories as our numbers between, like, on a total plane flight, like real idiots, between 50 and 100 grand, like super stupid.
Yeah.
So, funny story. My trainer with the Nets, he said that on a trip from New York to LA, because he used to be a trainer for the Knicks, like John Starks won like $50,000 and was like, yo, like, I'm going to go buy a brand new Range Rover. But this is why the gambling gets a little out of control, is because everyone knows, oh, we got a 6-hour flight back.
Right.
So, like, it don't matter if you go on a West Coast trip, like, you might win all the money there.
Right.
But, like, he said that, like, every bit of the trip working their way back, then ultimately going back out east, he lost it all. And he said he wasn't no good for, like, a week.
It's the worst team camaraderie that I've ever been a part of. Like, it was
Gambling
at a
on the
point where me
airplane?
and UD had a meeting with each other. We were trying to get out. It was like we were in a game. We was like, how do we get out of this? Because I'm getting I literally, one year, I literally lost for 2 months straight. My financial advisor called me and says, there's something I need to worry about because I'm seeing a lot of deposits come out. Cash deposits.
Okay. Not you, because I don't want you to tell, like, your business, wink, but I want you to tell what's the most you saw somebody lose in a game, and you don't have to say that person's name.
Most I've seen someone lose in like one game, or you talking about just a total?
Just like a trip. Like if you're going like not one hand, because I know we can get it crazy.
I mean, we're in 100,000. It's easy. Like it's easy.
In one trip.
Listen, let me tell you something. And then like when I was in Chicago, this is another one about Chicago. So I went to Chicago. Me and Jimmy don't gamble. I'm not a big gambler, but I do it for camaraderie. So me and Jimmy, we was going on a two-week road trip, and Rondo is a shark.
He a gambler.
Rondo is one of those guys that he could probably count all the cards. Like he shouldn't play. He's too smart. So we were gambling
Even in
with
cards?
them.
Yes.
And Jimmy said, D, how much money you gonna bring? I said, all right, we're going on a 2-week trip. You know, man, I feel like I'm gonna bring a lot of money. I was like, I'm gonna bring 50,000.
Yeah.
Okay, I can lose 50,000 for this trip. I mean, not lose, but I lose.
Like you're not.
See, that's why you and I are different on that game cube. I think I'm gonna win it.
Yeah, but you gotta know, like, I can lose this and be okay and sleep good at night.
Yeah, it's like Vegas. You only take what you're comfortable with. You lose. Like,
so I was like, this will last me 2 weeks, because when you gamble, you don't just gamble on a plane. Sometimes you gamble in a hotel room. Sometimes you get like late at night. Like
you go to New Orleans. You go to New Orleans.
You gamble a lot.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I lost $50,000 within 2 hours on the plane ride. We didn't even get to the city we were going to. And you know who else lost it? Jimmy Butler lost as well. So we was like, well, thank you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed us for the year. We're going to go over here and sit in our seats.
You want to know one of the Cardinals? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the Cardinals. Channing, you can jump in because Channing never
Channing's
gambled.
back.
Channing never gambled.
Channing ain't gambling. LeBron got his money.
Jason Collins.
I did gamble.
Do you know what the worst thing is? Because there's rules. There's so many like random rules that people don't know. Jason Collins did this one time. Like we were playing poker. He came in, pull his money out, played a couple hands. Then would put his money back in his pocket. Then, like, when we go around again, you got to ante up again, he would take it. Man, we're like, dog, just leave your money out. Like, leave your money out. This dude, he won, like, he played for probably, like, 30, 40 minutes, but then won, like, maybe one of the bigger hands. And it was only probably, like, let's say, like, $5 grand, right? So he won that. And he was like, all right, guys, I'm out. And it was just like, wait, no. Tell him. No. You don't get to do that. You in.
You can't get out. You can win big and be like, oh, I just won. You got to gamble now until all that money is gone.